Hi, I'm Abraham Lincoln, and this is My Culinary Trail by Chef Rich. Today I was asked to give a little bit of history about the area that we are in, which is Georgia, and specifically Savannah, Georgia. So today I'm going to tell you about one area that I was involved in Savannah during the Civil War. I do not like my beard, but we decided after the war had started that if we could stop the supply chain, it would shorten the war. The only way we could do that is to stop the big port, which was on this side of the coast in Savannah. But there was a fort guarding that area, and the closest we could get to that fort was about a mile. And our cannons at that time just would not hit that post. So we looked at other things. We could send ships and try to do a blockade, and that just wasn't going to work. You couldn't storm the fort because it's surrounded by marshland, and they just pick you off. If you send a ship up there, they just blow you out of the water. So we were trying to find a way to do this when we got a new weapon. And we looked at ways to get that weapon to use. The mouth of the river is at Tybee Beach. There was no armies there or anything, but we couldn't spend 10 years building a fort. So that was out of the question. So what we decided to do was just to build some very quick armament things that we could hold our new cannon at. This cannon was rifled, which has never been used before. So this was something new even to us, but it tested, and we thought we could do this. Now, Fort Pulaski, I got my notes here I'm going to read, sits on an island at the mouth of the Savannah River, and the island is called Cockspur Island, and it was ordered to be built by President James Madison, somebody who came a little bit before me. And it was built under the direction of Major General Babcock. And later on, that role was turned over to Second Lieutenant Robert E. Lee. So there's connection there. This was some of the last masonry forts to be built. They were ordered to be built all up and down the coast to keep from foreign people, armies to come in to protect us. This is probably the fort that's the hardest to get to, because as I said, there's nothing but marsh around the fort. The fort is built out of bricks, mostly made here in Savannah, 25 million bricks. The walls are anywhere from 8 to 12 foot tall. So for a cannon to really have any effect on that, the cannons that we were using at the time, you'd have to be within a half a mile. And there was no place that you could get a cannon that close. If you sent a bunch of army people there to try to attack it on the ground, they had killing zones set up. So it was just a waste of time on that. And even if you could get through that, you had a 20 to 30 foot wide moat. That moat was approximately 9 foot deep, and yes, like today, it's got alligators in it. And if you were able to get to the wall, you had a 22-foot climb straight up on a brick wall. And that's just not going to happen. Let's be honest with ourselves. Honest, Abe, the parade grounds on the inside is a little over 2.5 acres. So it's a pretty good size fort. When it was first built, the citizens of Savannah actually manned the fort and just watched out, because they had a lot of pirates in the area. But when the Civil War started, the Confederate Army did take over it. There was anywhere from 130 to 200 men that would man that fort, and by all accounts, there's just no way that it could be taken over. So as I said earlier, we were building an area to mount our cannons, our brand new rifled cannons, which had never been used at wartime. And we got everything set up. Of course, we had to use what was there, which is not very good products, but it was good enough in the end. Not much of it stands very well now, but we were able to handle that. And we sent a letter to the people in the fort asking them to surrender. I'm sure they had a good belly laugh at that because they said, no, get out of here. We're not surrendering. So we started to fire on the fort. Now, if you're not familiar what a rifled cannon is, a regular cannon just kind of spits the ball out, like if you throw a football sideways. It may move all over the place, not going to go very far. You're not accurate with it. But if you get a Tom Brady to throw that ball and it spirals, he could hit a dime at the end of the field. So we're almost a mile away from the fort, and we start shooting at the fort. And the gun worked even better than what we thought. The cannon was on target. It was accurate. We could hit the same place time and time again. And within 30 hours, the members of the fort surrendered. The day that they surrendered was 2 days before the Civil War had gotten to be 1 year. The trade route going up to Savannah, they would have gotten lead to make their lead balls, maybe cannons and guns. And when they would have gotten them, they'd gone right across the river and they'd been in South Carolina, and their supply lines to the back of their armies was very secure at that point. And to buy this, they sold cotton and rice and nuts and I'm sure many other things. So we cut off a major supply line. They now had to take their goods all the way around Florida, and there were still some pirates down there then, up into Louisiana to New Orleans. So that meant they had to go through New Orleans, through Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and their western side was not as secure as what it was from Savannah. So we don't really know how much time that saved us, but we are sure that it did save days, months, weeks, whatever, and many, many lives. And one thing that is to note on the siege on Fort Pulaski, which is the name of the fort, one person was killed. So we really like that news that not many were killed. Today, it is a national park, over almost 6,000 acres there. It's a piece of history that you just won't see very many places in the United States like that. So if you ever get a chance, you're going out towards Tybee Island. You can stop and see the fort and then go on out to Tybee to the lighthouse to see where we put our cannons at, and then on out to the beach and have a great time out there. So this is a little history on the state of Georgia, in particular the Low Country, which is where the dish that Chef Rich will be making later on this coming week kind of developed and took hold. So I'm not much on the food other than eating it. So I hope you enjoyed this little message, and I look forward to maybe seeing you again sometime if we ever get to Illinois or something like that. So I will talk to you later, and have a good day.